Morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night, good moment to you wherever and whenever you are on this sweet, wild, sacred earth. I'm Julie Ling, and this is the Voice of Wonder. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy that you're here. I invite you to let yourself settle in to your body, to the moment, this now here that will never come again. Notice how you're being breathed and the breath rises and falls within you and through you and for you. And letting yourself settle like so much stardust into your body, which is made up of the stuff of stars. Let the flute bring you in and open your heart. And just feeling yourself settle as you relax into the moment, coming into this now here, letting everything else be carried away on the next wave of the exhale, and fresh newness of this moment rising up in you on your inhale. Just that, being breathed. And yesterday I had a really trying day, really challenging day. And I was so activated that even when people did kind things and good things happened, I couldn't feel them, I couldn't reach them. And the day went on, and by the end of the day, I left for what I thought I'd be a couple hours and arrived 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours later, really weary, really tired, and so ungrounded, I felt like I was going to take off into the stratosphere. Kind of like the screaming kids you hear in the background, if you can hear them. And if not, you can imagine. And this morning I woke up feeling the same way. And then I joined an online dance community that I'm part of, and let myself come into my body. And as I was dancing, I found myself thinking about today and what I would bring and talk about. And I just heard, all y'all come free. Those moments when everything goes sideways and our hair's on fire and we leave the vicinity. We leave the building, we leave the neighborhood, we leave the body, we are gone. One of the things that the woman who was teaching said was she invited us to bring in and meet what was happening on the horizontal plane, on the earth plane, around us in our lives, to meet it and to recognize it as a way of serving our spiritual self. And I was kind of like, wow, I could add a V8. I couldn't even reach that thought. So I invite you to notice if there's a part of you that's run away, that's left the building, that's left your body, and how you can say, all y'all come free, and invite it back just a little bit, or a lot bit, or however much of a bit comes in this moment. Noticing how you soften and open, maybe imagining your inner arms are held out to welcome this part of you back that fled the scene, left the building, checked out. All y'all come free. that maybe, just maybe, whatever is happening isn't happening to you, but in some way you don't understand yet is happening for you. And I used to have a mentor who went through a period where she'd say, you know how the worst thing that happens to us in our life, and we think, oh, God, this is horrible and awful, and I wish it would go away. Years later, we say, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I'm so grateful that happened because it changed my life and I learned so much from it. She said, what if we just start with a gratitude? And I remember once something happening and her saying, I offer great gratitude for this. Yeah. And sometimes I remember that and sometimes I don't. And I invite you to, even in a growly, angry voice, offer gratitude for whatever's going on that caused this part of you, or maybe all of you like me, almost all of me, to leave the building. What if later you'll go, oh man, that was really hard and I learned so much from it. I gained so much from it. I wouldn't be me if it weren't for it. What if you met it as a potential for growth, for healing, for learning, for wisdom, for compassion, and allowed it to be, offered a little gratitude for it, met it as, if nothing else, fuel for your growth, fuel for your transformation. Fires require things to burn. And I'm talking about the fires of transformation, not fires that just burn things up for no reason. There seem to be a few of those going on these days. And who knows, maybe they seem that way. And later we'll go, oh yeah, that was awful and hard. And look what came out of it. Look what good things happened as a result of it. Because we can't see from here. Hindsight is 2020, but foresight often not very good. And I don't know where to buy those glasses to make it better. And what we imagine feels just as real to our minds and bodies as what we see. It's all an interpretation of energy. So what if you imagine that good things will come of it, that growth will come of it, the transformation will come of it, that you'll be okay. And maybe you're more okay now than you realized. All come free. And you can call this part back. It's okay. It's okay. We're okay right now and we're going to be okay. I know it didn't look like it. And what if we are? And even if you're not convinced, what if you pretend? When you were a kid and played cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers or whatever you played, you knew you weren't really that thing. It didn't stop you from feeling like it. It didn't stop the play from being fun. And life is short. This is the only moment we're in. What do you choose to practice? What you love or what you don't want? What you love or what you're scared of? I invite you to practice what you love. I think it's so much easier for it to come that way, especially when we do it without any attachment. So I invite you to just settle into that. Whatever's going on in your life that maybe a part of you has left the scene because of, what would you love to happen? Have you been so focused on what you didn't want that you couldn't even contemplate it? And if your answer is, I don't want this, that is not what you'd love. The universe, the subconscious for sure, does not hear the word not or no. So you're placing an order of more of that to your subconscious when you say, I don't want this, not this. What would you love? Pretend you know. Listen to the flute, write it and see what comes up. And maybe you don't see things, maybe you hear things, maybe you have a sense of things, maybe you feel them, maybe you imagine them differently. Whatever it is, just notice what arises within you and ride that magic carpet as you ride the sounds of the flute. imagining, how would you love the next turn around the bend? What's that, Len? It's going around again. It'll be coming around the bend. It's a Carly Simon song. What would you love that to be? What do you imagine it could be? And can you imagine something even better? Why not? What would you love? And what would you love even more? I invite you, whenever you notice a part of you's left the scene, left the building, fled the scene, out of town. Ollie, ollie, I'll come free. Whatever's happened, what if you were resilient enough to call this part of you back, to welcome it back? What if you're okay? You're really okay, even if you don't like it, even if it's challenging or difficult or squirmy. What if you're actually okay? And what if you imagine what comes next is what you'd love? We're all so good at practicing what we don't want. I want to invite you to get really good at practicing what you'd love. And sometimes the only way to do that is to notice when you're not. Oh, look at me, I'm practicing what I don't want. I say this all the time, and I catch myself doing it all the time. I learned it really well, and there is no shame in learning really well what you were taught. And that tells us you can learn things really well. What if you learn this really well? And that happens by practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. I don't know anybody perfect, and people who look perfect, I stay the heck away from, because that makes me nervous. I like people who are human and who get up and try again. I was in a business training class and they said, be an iterator. Like, try the thing and then iterate. Because you can always iterate again, and then it gets better and better. At least different and different, right? But when you wait and don't do it, there's no opportunity for it to get better, because there's nothing, as another friend of mine used to say, it's so much easier when you have something to edit. So practice, get a little better. What would you love? What would you love? What would you love even more than that? So today, as you go out into your day or your afternoon or your evening or your night, or you're stepping in between into the land of dreams, I invite you to notice if there's a part of you that's left the scene, and call it back. And if there's something that hasn't gone, isn't going the way you'd love, I invite you to imagine what that would be and to practice it for the fun of it, just for the sake of feeling better in this moment, because that's really all you can do, right? This is the only now. How can you feel better right now? How can you imagine what you'd love? Because that feels so much better than imagining what you don't want. I'm sure you're as good as it as I am, or better. Maybe not better, but it's good, probably. But who needs that? I invite you to practice what you'd love, and practice it again, and practice it again for the deliciousness of it, for the pleasure of it. Not to make things better out there or later, but to make things better in here right now. Because this is what we've got. That's my invitation and my wish for you. I'm Julie Ling, inviting you to let your heart sing the song of Ollie, Ollie, I'll come free, and the song of imagining what you'd love. So the more you imagine it, the more you recognize it when it shows up. Sometimes we're so good at looking for what we don't want, that's all we ever see. And we pretty much always find what we're looking for. So I invite you to do that. Have a beautiful and a blessed day.